So right now I'm going to talk about Obvara firing. The Obvara process is a mixture of flour, yeast, and a little bit of sugar. And you make it about 3 days before. And it's about 5 pounds of flour to 4 packets of yeast and a spoonful of sugar, 5 gallons of water. And what happens is the material ferments, and the person who developed this or brought it back, it actually was developed in Eastern Europe around the 12th century, and it's still being used today. Marcia Seltzer is a clay artist who's heavily into real interesting surfaces in firing. She actually brought it back to the United States and started filming and showing examples of Obvara. I saw her for a video on the process about 7 years ago and started testing and experimenting with this process. One of the names for it is it's called Baltic raku or Mediterranean raku or Eastern European raku because it goes to a similar temperature as raku, but instead of a glaze, we're going to scorch the piece with this material here. And when we take it out, the piece goes immersed into the material at 1650 to 1700. Then as I pull it out, you'll see the steam and the flame coming off of it because oxygen is introduced. Then we put it into water to quench it, and it freezes whatever the smoking process is. After that's all done, then you can seal it with the sealing video that I showed you, and we'll see what happens. So there's a lot of action with this, less fire than raku, and actually there's a little bit more safety issues with it. It's a little bit safer than raku. You just got to keep an eye on the direction of the steam on your skin. Okay, so we'll go to the outside to see this. So out here we're going to get ready to pull the 3 pieces I have in the kiln. I have a vase and then I have 2 of my masks. This is the Obvara solution. You can see all the bubbles of the fermentation. You can get a bubble process or almost like what's called like a wormwood effect from the carbon dioxide running down the piece as you're scorching it. So we'll see what we get. And the interesting part about this is that at this point, there's no fire because there's no oxygen. There is the Obvara, and you can watch it until you get to the point where you want the surface the way it looks. Just let it cool. And if you gradually work your way up, you can actually get a little bit different effect. Normally, I do 30 to 40 pieces with 1 batch of solution. And then you do it all over again. So from there you just let them cool. But I'm wearing my gloves, so I'm going to go ahead and pick them up. And you can see the scorching effect on this piece. Once I scrub it, we'll see a little bit more of the yellow, and you can see that movement pattern. So this tells me actually a lot of carbon dioxide in this batch. This one on the back, you can see the wormwood effect more, and a lot of times the back of the masks are sweeter. Actually, this isn't bad. So you can see, and there's little circles. Again, that's the carbon dioxide that's happening there. And this one, if you look at the back, I pulled it out part way, scorched more at the top, then I pulled up the rest of the way. So a little bit of a bilingual mask now with this. So I'll clean these up and then we'll show you what they look like finished.